Hey, this is Dr. Tasha of Dr. Tasha After Dark podcast. Listen, ladies, have you ever wondered what these men were really thinking, despite what they say when they're in front of you? What are they really thinking and talking about when they get together? We're going to get to the bottom of it. We have these guys on a panel, and it is a male panel discussing the state of black women, what their thoughts are, what their feelings are, and where they sit with you black women. So I'm getting answers for y'all. Do not miss it. Tune in. Hey y'all, this is Dr. Tasha back again with Dr. Tasha After Dark, and this is going to be a good one, y'all. Ladies, y'all better get y'all pen. I know y'all going to be mad at the end of the show, but chill. We're going to do another show finding out y'all perspective about these dudes, but today the dudes have it, okay? So it's all this relationship stuff, the back, and these dudes want this, but nobody ever actually talks to the dudes. So today we're talking to the dudes. We want to know, and we're talking black men and black women. We can do some other shows if y'all want to. Drop comments down below. But right today we're talking about black men speaking on the state of black women from their perspective, from their eyes, how they feel black women present themselves, how they feel black women carry themselves, what they feel black women offer, what they feel black women are lacking, and where they kind of just generally sit with their attraction to black women because of that. So I think it's a lot to learn. You can be narrow-minded and get upset if you want to, but these people are telling you what it is. We have different age groups here, so we have different perspectives. We have different walks of life, and we just want the information. So let's dig into it. So we have Dante here, okay, and we have Lamont here, and we have Jamal here, okay? So these are black men who date black women or are married to black women, however you want to say it, whatever it is. I don't want to put no labels on nobody, but we want perspective on how they think about black women. So when we talk about it now, we have such a culture thing with black women. As an almost 50-year-old black female, I look back and think about my idols like Debbie Allen, like Felicia Rashad, like Lynn Whitfield. Like, these were baddies. Like, and you know, they walked through, they didn't yell, they didn't curse, they didn't have all the embellishments. They walked through with grace and honor, and they would shut you down in a minute. But we have different role models now. We have different views of what women are or should be for different cultural reasons or whatever. And you guys see that. You guys are the recipient of that. So when we talk about black women, we have different age groups who do different things. Do y'all agree?
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
And so we have our younger women, and I want y'all to speak on this initially, who are a lot of fee for service. Cash at me this, or we're gonna go here, or you want to do this, sure. Cash at me this. I want to know what y'all experience have been with that and what that says to y'all. And then we have another group, and they might intertwine a little bit, that do and shout out to anybody who, this is not meant to be offensive, this is meant to be more visual. Our lace fronts, our lashes, our long fingernails, our veneers, our bellies on flat, our booties on big. It says a thing, especially maybe to men, right? And then we have a whole nother set of women who maybe are professional women who are a little stank, a little pretentious, you know, may not be as welcoming to all black men. So like, let's talk. Let's start with the Cash App crew. What experience have y'all had with this, if any? And what does it say to y'all? Like, talk to me. Like, open up about where we at with this. Does it make it easier? Are y'all happy to be like, cool, what's your checklist? What's your price list, sis? Because I want this. I want the number one combo. Okay, give me the number one with a little of this on the side. How much is that? And so it takes all of the guesswork out of it. Or is it just like, I feel like I'm hiring a hoe? What you got?
First and foremost, I would have to say that I can't say that I have a lot of experience in it, because ultimately, although I'm younger, I'm also part of the old Atlanta. So you know,
part of the what?
I'm part of the old Atlanta.
Old Atlanta, okay, yeah, I like that.
So you know, how I approach females is different from the new generation.
What's that mean?
So like the methods that you would use to pick up on younger females nowadays, you know what I'm saying, the cash and exchange, the social media, all that stuff, I don't come from that cloth.
Okay.
I'm in it, but I don't come from it.
Okay.
So my approach is different. So when I'm either approached or approach a woman, my conversation is different. My aura is different. My energy towards her is different. Like, it feels different. So therefore, they're not coming at me with the, oh, well, you got to pay me this. You got to take me here. You got to do this. They see me from a level of mystique and intriguing.
Okay.
And they want to actually get to know me.
Okay. All right. So he said, listen,
Jamal.
what you going to do is develop this relationship, period. Okay. So Dante, you sound like you got something to say.
No, I can piggyback off what Jamal said. I'm from the old Atlanta too, and I'm not 50 yet, but I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a gentleman never imposed; he's always invited. So you're gonna have to invite me, you know. But I come from the era. I have 5 brothers. I'm the youngest of 5 males, but it's 7 siblings. So if it's easy, I was always taught they got something. You know what I'm saying? So
If it's easy, they got something.
My brothers always say, if it's that easy, they got something.
Okay.
He said, so I hunt, you know, but these women today, they just lay themselves on your porch. It's not a struggle anymore. It's easy. Mm-hmm. And I believe that a woman, I don't care if she's educated, uneducated, ghetto, stripper, whatever, she know a real man. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
So with me, myself, I can flow any type of way, but a woman like, how can I put it? Give me an example. A lot of my female friends growing up, they were strippers, right? Mm-hmm. Even when we were in high school. But they would come to me and open up, but they were private. You know, they weren't like how these young ladies show themselves. They were like good girls. They go to church and do things of that nature, but they were private. They were regular females. You know, you would never know who they were, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't just judge a woman by how they respond and how they look. It's just, how can I put it?
So it's basically what they give off, not necessarily a look. But I mean, I'm talking about, have you had experience with, I guess so what you're saying is basically because of how you come off, the Cash App crew ain't gonna come at you sideways.
Oh, they come, but you don't have to play into it.
But how do you feel about it? Like, do you be wanting to be like, well, damn, like, I mean, or is it ever a time you like, you know what, it's been a rough week. What, sis, how much? All right, cool. Is that ever run into your space? Because I mean, we are human.
We human, but we never had to pray for it. You know, conversation rule the nation. Like, we could talk them out of it. You know, my era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And
they ain't talking no more. They got bills. They like, we got bills. We got lace fronts to lay.
But we got bills too. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So we do too. You
but
know, so if you need something, just ask. You don't have to, be.
But that's what I'm saying. It just seems like it's so transactional, and that they're not looking for a relationship. They're not looking for a bond. Yeah. They're not looking for anything. They're looking for a seafood platter and some change. Yeah. So it's like, what do you want to get this change? I'm hungry, so feed me. I might take a plate home for these kids. And then what do you want? Because I know what I want.
Sure.
And let's cut the bullshit. So therefore, I tell you what I want. You tell me what you want, and the bullshit is cut.
Bingo.
So you find some men who would find that refreshing. And then you find some men who are like, nah, I'm not doing that. And again, it's not speak to whether you've done it. I'm just speaking to your perception of it. So what do you think, Lamar?
May I? So, I mean, honestly, there's a place for everything. You know, we talked about this all the time. I mean, I played in Europe for 10 years where brothels and the red light districts is not just, home to, Amsterdam. It was in Germany. It was in Spain. It was in Bulgaria. It was in Greece. It was in Turkey, right?
Okay.
And so, sex working has been here since the beginning of the time.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's not something that's foreign. I think what these young ladies have found out, and again, whether it's your cup of tea or not, that's up to you, is that like, look, my mama and them struggled. I ain't struggling. You know what I'm saying? They was giving it up for free. Mm-hmm. or because they liked the man or they didn't like the man. So, hey, I'm weeding out the bullshit is what you talked about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want a guy that just want to flirt and this, that, and the third, or talk me out of my drawers like my man Dante just said. I need some bread. I'm trying to live. You know, you got a social media era where they see all these things where these women are getting tricked off on. Tricking ain't just start.
Not at all.
Tricking ain't just start.
Not at all.
Women are just being more upfront about it. And like you said, Dante, maybe they're not as shameful or they're not as
Private.
I guess it's private or like you talked about having a mystique about yourself. But, you know, you had to kind of peel back the layers to learn if a woman was really about that life or not.
Right.
Now it's like, yo, marketing one-on-one.
Right.
This is the best product out here. If you want this is what it costs. So I don't have a problem for it. I just think young men or men in general, whether they're young or old, need to understand where they shop at. You can go to Food Depot or you can go to Sprouts.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I like
or
that.
you know, Whole Foods, right? So, you know, you can't get mad if you get a whole bunch of slab of ribs for $20 at Food Depot, but if you want the organic grass-fed beef, and it costs you $75, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's quality.
Correct.
So I'm gonna say this, right? Or did this. I say from what I've learned from women is when if they know that women already know what they want when they see you.
Sure.
It's just based upon what they want from you when they see you. So regardless of the age, within the adult range, you know what I'm saying? They know if they want you just to have sex, they're gonna approach you like that, or they're gonna show themselves for you to pull up on them like that. If they just want some money about you, they're gonna show that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna look at you and make their assessment on what they want out you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They already know what they want before they even say the first two words to you, or before you even approach them. They done already peeped you across the hall and seen you. Like, either they don't say, "Oh, he look like somebody I wanna, fuck around with," or
Right.
"I can get some money up out of him. Look at what he got on. Look at how much he got on at the table. He in the bottle service. He this. Oh, here a ticket. I can get something up out of him." They already peaked game on
Sure.
you. So I always say that there's nothing wrong with them coming up on you saying, "Hey, look, in order to get my attention, you got to pay for this, this." As long as they're not allowing that to be their only source of income, because you have a lot of guys out here who got money like that,
Yeah.
but see you coming that way, and they'll put you on I like to call it a puppet string, where you can only go but so far with it. And as long as you stay in this pocket right here, I'll cap you out at this amount of money.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna give you too much the way you could do for yourself. I'm only gonna give you enough to keep stringing along and playing this game.
But to your point though, right?
Kind of like the Floyd Mayweather thing.
Yeah.
He'll buy a girl a car, when she pissed him off, he take the car back.
Yeah.
He take the car back.
Yeah.
He Indian giving.
That's
But
petty.
yeah.
That's so damn petty.
Well, it's
You
control,
listening,
though,
bro?
right?
That's petty.
It's
But
control.
what I'm saying though is that if she got some business by herself, she ain't got to be worried about,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, running the 1-2 with him just to hold on to a Rolls Royce.
Nah,
you
nah,
can get your
You
own.
can have it back, as a matter of fact.
You can get your
As
own.
a matter of fact, I'm going to disrespect you and give it back.
Well, hold on.
So you understand its strength.
I think we muddy in the water though, right? If I
How's
may.
that?
Because you're saying if she got some business about herself, the business is the transaction. So we don't care about the relationship. If I get it out of you, I got it. Whether it continues, I'm going to the next guy. Or the next guy.
So
or the
to
next
your
guy.
point,
Yeah.
I think that what we're talking about here is apples and oranges.
Bingo.
And
That's
gonna
what I'm
tell
saying,
you
muddy in the
why.
water.
Because
Yeah.
the reality of the situation is you're going to have a group of people
Yep.
who are interested in relationship.
Sure.
Right? I like this person. I want to be with this person. And then you have a group of people who are like, no, this dude is all right, but I need this bread. And so they're not really, a relationship is not their thing. They're not, I mean, they like guys sexually,
Sure.
but they're not in a space in their life to be in a relationship. They're in a space in their life to survive.
Yep.
So we're talking about females who are in survival mode versus females who are in a situation where it's like, I like him. I might want to be with him. I might want to. So it's apples and oranges. And I think from the gate, sometimes we confuse what we see. And that's when the drama comes. Because think about it. If y'all see a woman who's in survival mode, y'all know she's in survival mode. Either you're going to pay or you're not. If you're not, that's the situation. She don't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to her.
Easy.
But if you in a space where you like, and she in a space where she like, run me some money, y'all gonna talk because
Gonna give
the
it away.
negotiation is about not if, it's about how much.
Bingo.
Right? Because y'all are on the same page. But a chick who wants a relationship, if you see, oh no, she thirsty, she on something else, and you just want sex, it's gonna go no further.
Right.
So we got to be in a situation where we're always comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. That make sense?
Agreed.
As long as they can be accepted to, you know, if somebody decline because they don't feel like the dollar amount they're putting on it is worth the good time.
Say it one more time because I didn't catch that.
So like you'll have, like, all right. So like for example, I met a female in LA one time, just talking to her through a mutual friend, and she was telling us about how like she ran this one basketball player up for like $5,000 just to let him hit.
Just to let him hit. Okay.
But then when I sit back and think about it, I'm like, what if it wasn't satisfactory to him? How does that work out? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, what if he says, "Oh, I ain't paying
It's a game
$5,000."
you playing.
It's like I ain't paying $5,000. I don't think it's worth $5,000. Then they'll get offended. Like, oh, you don't think I don't? You know what I'm saying?
But it's a transaction.
You're right,
It's
but-
the marketplace. If you offer me something for a price and I don't think it's worth it, I get to choose to decline.
Right.
It's just that simple.
It's up front.
Yeah, exactly.
It's up front.
My,
And-
my dad told me, he said my grandfather, he said his dad, he said he was a drunk, but he was wise about some things. He said, we the only fools that go to work for 2 weeks and expect to get a paycheck when hoes get their money up front. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the truth of the matter.
I ain't really mad at that. I ain't really mad at that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Okay, so I mean, I guess, do you feel like that aesthetic? Do you feel like that cash for fee, I'm being up front, run me some money? Do you feel like that has, does it make it easier for you guys when you go out, when you're like, all right, because think about it. We get flying, we get fly. We want to look nice. We all want to look nice, but really you do it for the attention of women. Keep it 100. We do it for the attention of men. You do it for the attention
Sure.
of women, right? So has it made that easy? You know, back in the day, like you said, talk them out of it. So you got to be fine. You got to be fly. You got to smell good.
Yeah.
I got to throw my top game on. I got to throw my top game out there because I'm trying to pull this chick. I'm trying to pull the fine chick.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't necessarily have to be an issue. Now you can still pull the fine chick with some bread. So does it make it easier? This whole Cash App aesthetic, does it make life easier? Does it make dating life easier?
If you're not in the U.S.
If you're not in the U.S., hit me with that. Like it's because what?
All right, so in the U.S., it's frowned upon to have. It's against the law to be sex worker, right?
Theoretically,
So
yes.
they're sprinkling. Oh, you're just tricking on me as an overlay of what it really is, because it's illegal to call it what it is. But there are a lot of females out here who will finesse men out of a check and still don't, you know what I'm saying, take it though. You feel me? I've seen it.
So therefore, that basically they get some money out you without sleeping with you.
Yeah, there's some scammers out here now.
Okay.
For
okay.
real.
We scamming it.
Oh yeah, and I've seen women set, you know what I'm saying, niggas up.
Yeah.
Y'all like, yeah. What
You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
join in. Y'all
Like-
been set up. Y'all
No,
know
I've
what
never been set up, but I've seen it. You know what I'm saying?
I've been set up before. I met a young lady back in the day at Walmart, and
Well, there you go. Okay, the first sentence. I met a young lady at Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. We would love for you to sponsor. But at the end of the day, that's the first sentence. I met a lady at Walmart. But go ahead.
I met her in the store, just something honest. I was in between a breakup, and I was like, okay, and I met her. She was fine, and it was physical, and she gave me the information. So
What information?
her number.
Okay.
She
You
gave
gotta
me
be
a phone
specific.
number.
I
Okay.
know what she gave you.
She gave me
Cash App? What?
it wasn't Cash App. then.
Instagram,
So
what?
she gave me a phone number. So we text for a little while. So I called her. So I went to pick her up. So when I got to the door, you know how you get a feeling like something ain't right. So I went up the stairs to these apartments, and I knocked on the door, and I heard a baby crying. I said, well, I don't know about no baby. So she stopped answering the phone. So immediately I text my brother, and
What made
I
you
didn't
text
get
your brother?
because it didn't feel right. So then I called my brother. I said, hey man, I'm over in Latonia.
Don't say Eastwick.
I said, no. Eastwood wasn't still around then. It was, but it was the guard wasn't at the gate no more. So I'm from Decatur. So
too.
I was walking down the stairs and it just got real quiet. It got real cold. I said, hey, I'm over here in Lithonia. I done called this girl. She ain't come to the door. I said, something ain't right. And next thing I know, I'm coming down the stairs. I seen a dude come this way and a dude come that way. They said, nigga, where the money at? I said, oh, what money? So he swung the pistol, and all I know was a blow. I went down, right? So they laid me down. I'm laid out on the floor. I'm like, Lord, she done got me. So he was like, where your money? I said, look, I'm laying down, face down on the floor. One dude, he slapped my hat off, my fitted cap. He slapped my hat off down the hallway. He said, stop looking at me. I said, hold up. He said, you want me to hit him with the tool? I said, hey, all I'm thinking, I said, don't knock my teeth out. That's what I'm thinking to myself. I said, hey, we ain't got to hit nobody with the tool. I got $500 on this card. You ain't gonna get no money out of this card. He laid all my cards, just all the cards in my pocket.
Damn.
I got $500 on this card. I got $250 on this card. I said, ain't nothing on this card. You practicing with this card. I said, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still there. I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, I said, I know you ain't gonna let me go out like this. So I'm on the ground, on the concrete. And next thing I know, I'm like, the dude was like, you better not be lying to me. He said, lay down. I told you not to look. So I told him my code. I laid there and I'm watching them run away. I see his feet. I'm watching them run away. As soon as I didn't see him no more, I got up. I started running. I ran so hard, I ran into the runaway car. I came out. It was dark. I'm running. I'm like, I said, oh man, I ran back the other way. And after that, I said, you know what? I don't do Walmart no more.
Okay, good.
And I also, I have this thing when I meet a woman, I meet them at Quick Trip. I don't care who it is. We in the parking lot. You don't just come to my house. I'm on like.
For real.
For
you can't do it.
As of this day, I do that. I meet them at Quick Trip. We talking.
That's funny.
You lucky you ain't lose your life.
That's funny.
Yeah. But
that, I mean.
But they end up finding the people later on. They did. They found the girl. The police, you know, I don't even do police, but I was so thankful to see the DeKalb County. You hear me?
Crazy, man.
I'm I'm knocking on doors. And
Oh my
true
God.
story. I know it's going.
first.
It's a true
That shit's
story.
hilarious.
That's
I'm
a
knocking
first.
on doors,
Yeah.
and it was this lady. Came to the door. She said, "No, you can't come in here." So I'm running around. So I saw one door. It had a light on. So I beat on the door, and this guy, he came to the door. I said, please, let me in. Let me in your house. I said, I just got robbed. He said, no, you ain't coming. But he cracked the door. I held the screen. He said, get your hand off the door. I said, no, I can't. I said, I need you to let me in. He said, no. He said, get your hand off the door. I said, I can't, sir. I said, I don't know if these people out here. Please let me in. I need to use the phone. And took my phone. He took everything. He said, get your hand off the door. Get off the door. I said, I cannot come in. I said, I'll come in your house and sit down Indian style, but I need you to call the police. He said, get in this house. See, he brought me in the house.
You wasn't scared. I mean.
No, hey, look. So he took me in the house.
Lord,
true
have
story,
mercy.
And he called the police. Yeah, he called the police.
To answer your question, that's a crazy story, by the way. That's definitely some Decatur East Side shit. Yeah. But and I ended up living in Lithonia for a long time. My mama still live out Covington, Panola. But with that being said, to make it easy, absolutely makes it easy. Here's my perspective as a second time married man. Shout out to my wife Jamila.
Shout out to wifey.
You know what I'm saying? Is that like, you know? But I ran the streets for a long time before I got married. I didn't get married. The first time I got married, I was 32. And then we got married shortly thereafter, you know what I'm saying? Again, after divorces, all that kind of good stuff. So, you know, living abroad, like Jamal talked about, like I was overseas from 2004 to 2014. Mm-hmm. Came home 30 to 45 days a year during that span, which was basically off season for me to train before I went back to Europe. You know what I'm saying? So being in France, being in Italy, being in Spain, being in places where, you know, that market or the sex worker market was what it was. I mean, I had a partner. I ain't gonna name names. He gonna laugh if you ever hear this joint. But like that was part of his, his routine. Every week he gonna hit the red light district 3 times a week. It was a wham bam, thank you, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. 50 to 75 euros for half an hour to get his rocks off and be out of there. It wasn't no texting. It wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no getting to know each other. It was physical. You know what I'm saying? And so I think all this stuff is a situation of it has its place.
Right.
If you're going through a bad breakup, right? You're going through whatever,
that
and you just
girl is
that Cash App girl is where it's at.
Okay.
If you're dating for a relationship and serious, connection, soon as somebody bring that to you, get rid of it. Don't go that Food Depot, Whole Foods. Let's get back to it, right?
Yeah.
And then, or maybe you have that hybrid situation. A young lady is in survival mode because you know what? She has been done wrong. She had some bad breaks. Certain things happen financially where they're in a bad space. It's not a situation where it's cash app, but it's like, yo, listen, if you're not going to make my life easier right now,
Then get on.
then get on.
Right.
As a grown man, I was taught this. My mother taught me this as a single parent herself. Me, the oldest of 3 boys that she raised at 18, 19 years old, being an early divorcee from my father. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll teach other young women who I date, like, Lamont got to pay for the dates. Lamont got to do this and the third, even as a teenager. Because there's certain things as a woman of caliber that you should want to do for them anyway. If it's somebody struggling,
now let's talk
pay a
about
phone
that.
bill. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about that because I think that a lot of men try to group those women, and I'll explain what those women into the Cash App group, and that's not fair.
It's not.
And I definitely agree with that. In that you're not going to take my time up. You're not going to spend hours on the cell phone that you would literally refuse to pay for.
Sure.
You want to listen to me eat ramen noodles while you have a conversation or while you cut your steak at Capitol Grill.
Sure.
But then you want me to be all open arms, he,
Right.
looking great, feeling fabulous, and ready to have sex with you.
Right.
To me, that is a selfish
Yeah,
situation
that's not fair.
to be in. So you have women who are fee for service and they're low key. Let's not call it sex working, but that's what it is. And shout out to the sex workers. No judgment.
No.
But then you have women who, like you said, are essentially like, if you're not in a space of making my life easier, you've come into my space, you're not going to make my life easier, and you're going to deduct from me at some point,
Sure.
because that's what this is all about.
Right.
Then I ain't got time for that. Somebody has deducted enough.
Right.
That we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Then those are two different sets of women.
Absolutely.
And I think that men who are cheap or men who are selfish or men who are immature try and group that to say, oh, you want me to do A, B, C, D, and E, or you just out for money.
Yep.
No, but why should I talk to you for 3 hours and then are struggling to pay my cell phone bill versus buying my kids' school supplies?
Dingo.
And then you want to know why I can't get wet when it's time to have sex because I got stuff on my mind.
100%.
I got stuff on my mind.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So you make my life easier so that we can have an easier relationship. So therefore, or whatever it is, we're in situationship. So I'm okay with
Me
that.
too.
And I think that it's the mature thing to do as a man.
Yep.
It's not to say that you're here. We had a nice conversation. Here go 300.
Right.
No.
Right.
But it's like if this is a woman, take her out to dinner and be
Yep.
like, okay, you straight, like your sister good
Yeah.
with the kids. You think
Yep.
your kids are
Yep.
gonna be safe.
Yeah.
You just want to get out and talk about your week. Don't care what these kids gonna eat, who sitting for these kids.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. So
not fair.
that's a different set of circumstances.
Yeah.
And ladies, I get it, and I'm with y'all on that because how can I come out and enjoy myself and the weight of the world is on my shoulders and you haven't even asked?
So let me speak to that, and Jamal, I want you to talk about it. Obviously, Dante too. This ain't my show, y'all. I'm sorry.
No,
but
listen.
but I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think there's a disconnect between those women who may be in that situation that we just spoke of,
Yes.
and not being able to articulate that because they want to lead with the Cash App. There's the straight sex worker. We're gonna call it what it is. We ain't gonna
Call
skirt
it what
around
it
it,
is, okay.
right? We're gonna call it what it is. That just want that. They care about a bag. Back in the day, they used to be called groupies or whatever. They just wasn't getting paid for it.
Right.
They just had access. It was in the section. It was in the club. They felt
Right.
like they was on the jet, but they ain't had no money. Now they realize I can make money. That's them. That's one category of women.
Right.
Now we got the women that's in that survival mode that need help. They still want to date. They really don't have a lot of time. If you ain't gonna make my life easier, going back to that group,
Right.
they see what these women, the sex workers, are making. So they're leading with, hey, hit my Venmo, my Cash App, my Zelle, versus just saying, hey, listen, I like you, Jamal. You're an attractive guy. You seem like a good enough dude. I would like to get to know you, but guess what? I got 3 kids. I got this or whatever. Forget the kids. I'm struggling because sometimes that's an easy way to be out like, why you got all these
Put it on
kids
your
if you
kids,
broke?
right.
No, but just say, look, hit a rough time. I'm struggling. I don't really have the time to date like that if you're not going to improve what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a disconnect in how they articulate
But I
what
can
it is
see
as
how-
opposed leading with Cash App.
Right, but I can see how
She
that
want hand
would
up.
create a little bit of a pullback for a male to be like, okay, see, now you sounding like the Cash App chicken. That's
Sure.
not what I'm looking for.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the poor articulation.
Or now you sounding like a built-in burden.
That could be possible. But
Well,
go ahead.
it depends. Because, I mean, you have some females that will be transparent with you and tell you, like, look, my life right now, I don't have the financial space to entertain you like that because I got this, that,
Now,
third
I like
going
that,
on.
the financial space.
You know
I
what I'm
like,
saying?
that's a term, ladies. Y'all got a pen? I told y'all to keep a pen. The financial space to entertain you. That was cute.
You know, and versus you have some females like, you can't get a conversation out of me unless you pay me $300 because there was some other sucker that gave her $300
Bingo.
just to hear her
That's
speak,
the
and now
game
she
up.
thinks that's the new norm. Like
Yeah.
every guy's gonna have to pay me $300 when in all actuality, he was just one of them ones you got looked up on. But you're
Right.
not gonna get that out of everybody like that. Sometimes you get more when you show more value.
Bingo.
That's
And
true.
and I don't know. I come from an era where men will always do for women that they want. So if they see something in you,
You said that.
they will do whatever it
That's
is they
real.
got to do to get you, even if that means taking you out of your situation.
Okay,
on.
so
Right.
let's explore that.
Can-
Because I
Not even
think
dating or relationship, just in the
Yeah.
in the
I like
space
something
of right
about
now-
her. I want to have fun with
Wanna
her,
help her.
but I can't have fun with her because she ain't got time to have fun. So let me help her.
So that's what I like, because I think, and I want y'all to speak on this,
I
because
got you,
I
yeah.
think that that's what most women are hoping will be the situation.
Yeah.
That this person is going to take me out of what I'm in just because they want to be with me.
Yep.
Again, I think it's all mixed up communication.
Yeah, I said that.
But speak to when you said if a man likes a chick, because I think these women also have the definition of like confused.
Yeah.
So let me hear what y'all got to say about what he just said.
I'll go real quick because I'm going to be quick.
Go ahead.
How can I know if I like you if you leading with the Cash App, though? That's what we talked about, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that piece. And the second thing I wanted to talk to something that you said about sucker stuff. People are getting a lot of money now in different ways. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be a sucker to just be like, all right, I'll pay $300 just to, you know what I'm saying, see what it's like. It might just be means.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to pay either way. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's long game or slow game. Because you all,
I like
granted,
that.
you paying anyway. You can look at it as a long-term investment, like you paying on a mortgage, and you're going to get the house later. You're going to get a deed. Or you can just go on it here. You know what I'm saying? But real time, it's a young lady, woman of God. She in church. But she's, like you said, she kind of fell on some hard time. And by no means, I don't trick off. But I know the game. So I was like, a real man is a fixer. He's gonna take care of it, right? Because that's what we do. But certain things are not meant for us to fix. Sometimes we have to listen to what they want. Because sometimes they just want to talk. They don't want you to do that. You know, but you can't keep bringing something to me if you don't want me to handle it. So if I see you and I'm like, okay, you said you're gonna get your feet done, but that paint still chipped. Like, do you need some money to get your feet done?
Damn right.
So I'm at the place, I'm like, go get your feet done. If you're not gonna handle it, don't keep bringing me the same thing. And you know, a friend of mine, we was on the phone on my way here, and she was trying to get her hair braided. I said, what it cost to get your hair braided? I mean, you got 4 braids. You're trying to do this. You're not a.
What you're not gonna do is tell this girl she got 4 braids.
No.
That's what you're not gonna-
Seriously, I'm
So she got the Felicia
I said
braids.
you got 4 braids, but you don't do that. You do other things.
He said a
I
police.
said pay somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like pay somebody to do it. I said, what is it gonna take to get it done? Cause I'm like this. I said, I'm not saying I'm gonna do all of it because I got 2 boys, but I can meet you halfway now. But
Bust
you
it
gotta,
open. No, I'm just
yeah,
playing.
you gotta do the work yourself. You gotta meet me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even. We just cool. But I'm like, I'm not gonna watch you struggle.
Right.
Cause that wouldn't be a real man. A real man don't just watch certain people struggle. If
true.
you're gonna help somebody, like here, boom. But donor dollars, I'm not doing. I'm not just giving my money away. I work too hard. But
I
I
know
give you a
that's right.
hand up.
Okay.
Man.
So you said you give a hand up, not a hand out.
Nah, I can't
Dig
do that.
this, man. Let me tell you how a lot of these females got shit fucked up. They too busy focusing on the short game, not realizing that it's a bigger bag out there if they just play the cards right. See, when I say they got the shit fucked up, it's like you come at if somebody approaches you and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Say, "Nah, you can't have a conversation with me unless you give me $300."
That's right.
That's the short game because I'm just giving you the $300 right quick because that's all it is. We gonna talk for a little bit. I'm going about my business. Versus, I not just saying that happened, but just in
Right.
general, I could come to you and say, hey, what's happening? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. We start having a very interesting conversation. And I'll be like, I would like to take you out. Let's go on a date or something like that. Nothing serious. Let's just have fun.
Right.
Depending on how that conversation goes, what I find out about you, you could easily get an Apple Pay of $1,000 just to support whatever it is you're doing, just off the strength of because you playing the long game. And it's nothing serious. We're not in a relationship. It ain't nothing like that. It's just one of those things where, hey, what you doing this weekend? Oh, well, I gotta work. I bartend or I'm a server or something like that. So I gotta make, you know what I'm saying, $800 this weekend, you know, take care of my bills, this and that. Look, boom. Here go $1,200. I want you to go somewhere with me. Hang out.
Nah, that's real.
Yeah, they're real.
That's real.
So basically, you know, y'all are. So I get it. You know,
be honest.
It's the approach.
It's
the approach be fucked up.
That's what I want to
You
hear.
feel me?
It's the approach.
It's the same thing with us approaching you, Doc.
For sure.
Like,
It's always the
It's
approach.
always
You
the
focus
problem.
on the crumbs just to get some attention when you can get a whole plate if you just ring your cards right. Women got more power than they realize. But
No,
it's
I
these
think-
younger women
I
that
think
don't
that
realize.
I think that women are now starting to realize and understand the power. I think what they don't have is a constructive means or a constructive mentor on how to leverage the power that they have.
And
You wanna
communicate.
know
They're
why?
realizing it,
I'm
but what they think is the power is all in the sex. The power is not all in the sex.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. The problem is they've so institutionalized into this microwave version of getting some money that don't nobody know how to put nothing in the oven and let it slow cook.
Well, that's true.
Well, hold up. But see, I agree with you on that. So I don't disagree with anything you brother said. I think though where we were having somewhat of a blended conversation is that we're talking about women who only want transactional versus women that want a relationship. So
Right.
we need to. I mean, I guess we gotta
Always
identify this
separate.
part.
Always
Yeah.
identify
So
and separate.
this is what I'm
Right.
saying, right? I personally know females
Yeah.
who live their life off transactions.
Sure.
Nothing serious.
But
Yeah.
that's their job.
But they focus on the long game versus these newer generation girls that
Sure.
just see the facade on social media and stuff, or see how somebody
Yeah.
else might have ran and think that that's just a play,
Yeah.
and they don't even know the whole playbook
But
yet.
but you talking about method. We're talking about intention.
Right.
There's a
Right.
difference, right? We're talking about women that may want a long term relationship, but are going about it the transactional way.
I got you.
So I'm saying we gotta be targeted to the conversation
And
that we're having
understand
right
that.
now.
Right.
Of who are we talking to? Are we talking to the women that want maybe a more serious relationship, more than just fun? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so
who are we talking to?
Let's talk about
Yeah.
how do we figure it out. And when I say we, I mean y'all.
Yeah.
How is that figured out? So when are you guys okay? So I'm trying to figure out a constructive way to ask this question. I'm gonna just ask it.
Sure.
When you see a woman, her physique,
Yep.
does that make you think that she's in one of these particular groups?
No.
Meaning you see the Afro Jill Scott chick, does that make you think, oh, she don't want a relationship? Versus when you see the lace front, snuffle up against lashes, Cardi B nails with the done up
Yeah, yeah.
booty, and be like, she wants some bread. Or
Yeah.
or you see a professional woman, you like, no, she look like she live up
Yeah.
there in Alpharetta somewhere, and I ain't with all that because I can't afford all that. Does what you see when you see these women?
May I?
Please do.
Yeah.
Does that make you think a particular kind of way?
I think anybody that doesn't prejudge people are lying. They say they don't prejudge
Agreed.
people are lying. So if I see certain categories, or aesthetics, lace front, veneers, bad BBLs, et cetera,
And
et
not that
cetera.
anything is wrong with these things. We're not judging them. We're just saying if you look culturally and socially at what we're made to think of is the rapper girl aesthetic.
Well, that's your disclaimer, not mine. I'm telling you, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
It's not
okay.
my thing, Lamont
Okay.
thing, right? And so these brothers may, you know what I'm saying? But for me, if I see all that, I'm instantly not attracted. Or I may prejudge you in a way that
Are you physically not attracted, or do you feel
Physically
like
not
she's one
attracted.
of those girls?
both in some case,
Okay.
right? Well, actually, I never prejudge in regards to what they're looking for as far as the Cash App thing, because a lot of times, if I meet them in person, if you meet somebody in person, you don't know that.
Right.
You could tell by like how they present themselves online, on their socials and stuff like that, if they about that life or not.
Okay.
If you got your Cash App in your bio, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Well,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know what I'm saying? If some of the captions you got on your posts we present a certain way, this is pretty easy.
Right.
But if I meet you, like I said, Food Depot or Whole Foods is different. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess what I'm trying to say, aesthetically, I mean, some of the biggest freaks are the corporate women. Women with their own money.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because they are like more masculine energy sometimes. Not to say they're fully masculine. They're like, yo, I got my own. I don't need no Dante. I don't need no Jamal. I don't need no Lamont. You know what I'm saying? I do, but I don't. I need maybe the physical thing because that's what I want, but I don't need you to take care of me, G.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they can be the one night stand, jump offs, like, you know what I'm saying, that's ready to do whatever and not call you tomorrow. You feeling like, yo, did I just get used? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the chick that looks with the lace fronts, whatever, however you want to say, or the Afro chick who wants to talk about, you know, vibrational levels and all that kind of stuff, you know, they just as freaky too. Like, cause they, you know what I'm saying? They aphrodisiacs and all they libidos and the sea moss they eating and all that kind of stuff is extra too, right? It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
There's
the
a girl
burdock
said,
root and all that.
how much watermelon do you eat a week?
Yeah,
I was like, I know where this is going.
exactly. She trying to see if that thing gonna stand up.
Yeah,
You know what I
where this
mean?
is going.
Check. You eat the rind too? You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. As far as like the lashes, the lace front, cosmetics, all that, I look at it as an extension of them. I look at it the same as how I look at a guy's car. Or like, for example, that's just what you into. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you like having the tummy tuck and, you know, the BBL and all that stuff, that's just your thing. That just could just be your thing. That doesn't necessarily make your character what it
Exactly.
is. That's just what you into. You know, different if you see somebody pull up in a tricked out Hellcat. That don't mean he's flashy. He probably could just like fast cars or something. That's just your aesthetic.
It might mean you're a little flashy.
I mean, like for me, for example, I just like I like fast cars in general.
Right.
Whether it's an old school or whatever. If it go fast, I'm with it. I don't care if it's a go-kart. But you know, that's just that person. If it's somebody I want to know, if I want to know what type of female she is, I'm not gonna pay attention to how she's dressed. I'm gonna pay attention to her in general. I'm gonna sit back and watch how she carry herself, what she do, how she respond to people, how she look at people if somebody walk too close to her, how she receives her drink at the bar, how she reacts if somebody casually has a conversation with her, stuff like that. How she feels about people being in her comfort zone. I'm gonna sit back and look at all of that type of stuff first, and that's gonna let me know exactly who I'm dealing with.
So then let me ask y'all a question. When it comes to taking a chick to home to the cookout with the aunties, the sisters, and the mama, does the aesthetic matter?
100%. 100%.
I would say in my family, they don't really judge off of that, because I've never been the type to bring a bunch of women around the family. So if they came with me, my folks already know she here for a reason. There's something about her.
Okay.
Why she's here.
But you said absolutely. Both of y'all said absolutely. Talk to me about why.
It matters because, like you said, aesthetics, and I say enhancements. You know, it's good if it's done the right way. You know, you can't, if you're gonna get a weave, let it be the right weave, because you represent me too.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's not about being vain, and just like what Jamal said, men, we don't just bring people home to our mom or our family, because they're gonna automatically, if we bring her to the house, they're gonna feel like
She's special.
she's special. She the one. They done found something. You know what I'm saying? Unless there's a conversation that had to be had, like, hey, and she's still gonna be bad. This just my friend. This ain't nothing serious. This ain't nobody. This ain't my girlfriend. We just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? But I think strength comes with through the women, right? So women really have to. They have to give you the ability to lead, for them to follow us as a man, right? So just like he said, like, they have more power. They do, because you all are the only ones. You carry life.
Right.
Everybody had to come through a womb. You
Right,
deal with
right.
it. You're a doctor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So as far as like the woman that we bring to the house, or that type of woman, it does matter how they look. It is not being vain. You want somebody that has something in them, that know how to carry themselves and conduct themselves, but you want something you can look at. I don't want to wake up and be scared.
Sure.
But you know what I'm saying?
Wait. Why are we scared when we wake up?
No, dang, you know, this ain't no one night stand. This is like a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
Get to Dante's point though, like, everybody trying to beat around the bush. I know we trying to be
You want something pretty.
We're trying to be diplomatic, and I get it.
Ooh.
No, I'm just saying, like, in general, not us at the table.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess, for lack of diplomacy, I'm gonna say, like, listen, like you just said, Dante, like, you're a representation of me, just like I'm a representation of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I came here today. What did I ask? You know what I'm saying? Yo, producers assistant. I was like, yo, what's the attire?
Right.
This is your product.
Right.
So I got to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And so I was happy to do it, but I'm also, even if she didn't tell me, I was going to come a certain way regardless. Because there's, like Jamal talked about, there's a character and an integrity thing. And in addition to that, like a desire to want to be presented a certain way. Because no matter what, if I got a great product in a bad package,
Right.
you're not going to buy it.
Nope.
You probably won't even pick it up if it's for free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you can have a average product in
And a
great packaging,
And you gonna buy it.
and you're gonna at least consider it.
Exactly.
You're gonna pick it up and look at the label and see what's going on.
Exactly.
So for me, and again, we talked about this offline, but I'm gonna bring it to the table. And Jamal, I think you was just getting here. Is that like we also gotta talk about culture. I'm from the East Side too. I started in Decatur, ended up in Lithonia. But like when you grow up in like I guess a culture where it's kind of hood, you know what I'm saying? It could be a little ratchet.
Yeah.
Initially, like Sharon and them, who I used to like at Aberdale High School, ain't the same chick I like at Redan or Stevenson.
No,
I end up going to Redan. You know what I'm saying? These girls are kind of like, they grew up in Hidden Hills and Murfield and all that stuff where they was kind of like middle class and they cute. You know what I'm saying? They wore polo instead of the stuff at, what was it, Rainbow? Whatever that was. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not judging nobody that you got to shop in your class as far as how much you make, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you could afford, but it's also a way to how you dress it. You know what I'm saying? Tammy Martin, my mom, shit, we was at Ross, TJ Maxx, and Marshalls.
All how you carry yourself,
Exactly.
is what you're saying.
Yeah. So my point in saying all that is like, so the lace fronts, BBLs, whatever, that might be not your cup of tea, contingent on culturally how you was raised. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It doesn't. To Jamal's point, it doesn't mean that she's a bad person, whatever.
Right.
I see some politicians and senators that got some bad weaves and makeup, right?
yes,
So
honey,
just because
yes.
you're educated and or accomplished, don't mean that your look says
it's
that.
fine. And that's the whole thing. So I guess because a lot of what we will ride on as females is to be like, well, men are very package based. They see the package.
Absolutely.
And that's what they ride on. And I guess that was my question, like, regardless as to who a person is, regardless as to how accomplished they are, regardless as to what they have going on, is that packaging a deterrent for you?
For me, it is.
It is.
It's the energy for me.
It's the energy.
Yeah.
So you don't care about the packaging.
No,
it's more
because the package
energy.
can be changed. That's been proven time and time
better say
again.
it.
Okay. So the packaging can be changed. So the
Substance.
fact that
They gotta have something in them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause,
Yeah, but
you
hold
gonna
on,
gain some weight.
guys.
You gonna gain some weight.
Yeah, but I got.
we ain't talking about.
I gotta-
I'm
that's what
talking
I'm saying.
about
Y'all talking-
aesthetic stuff.
Yeah, y'all
are talking different than I'm talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You say you like fast cars, right?
Yeah.
You said whether it's an old school, new joint,
Yeah.
whatever, right? But if you go to a lot, you telling me the beat down joint that got a Hemi in it, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna know you got a Hemi in it until you open the hood? You gonna see this beat up car versus these other cars that look good, and you gonna choose the beat up car, and you gonna find, oh, this one actually got the best engine. That's what you trying to tell me?
What I'm telling you is that I'm the type of dude that'll go to a lot, see a $50,000 scat pack, and then I see a used 83 Monte Carlo in it with all factory, but the motor's messed up. They want 50,000 for the scat. Dude over here like, give me 2,500 for the Monte Carlo. I'm the type that's
Yeah, but you talking cost now.
Oh,
You
I'm
talking
saying,
cost. We talking
I know-
aesthetic.
well,
We talking
I'm
aesthetic.
I'm talking
We talking
So, like,
aesthetic.
my mind aesthetically, I know that this car got sold. I know if I put the amount of money into it aesthetically, it's gonna be worth way more than this car.
You moving the goalpost, Pimpin', and I gotta hold you to court. As soon as I said look, because aesthetic is look, right?
Just the look.
It's just a look.
Oh, well, you were talking about the look of a scat versus the Monte Carlo. I'd take the Monte Carlo any day just from the look.
Okay. Well, you said it got
That's-
sold,
that's
so
my-
I'm trying to
that's
figure
my
out how you
preference,
know
but
it
it's
got
just
sold.
how
Okay,
I
cool.
feel.
That's
He
fair.
didn't say it went clean though. He didn't say the Monte Carlo went clean.
I didn't say it wasn't clean. I'm just saying that like maybe I'm tripping.
That's facts.
No. I'm listening
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
for keeping us on task.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have been steering off, and you
Yeah.
you holding it all together.
As
I
you should.
appreciate it.
Because
No.
you talking about, oh, she got to be pretty. She got to be. That's not what I'm talking
No, I
about.
got you.
What
I
I'm
got you.
saying is that because I'm talking culturally today
Yes.
with black women, They can be absolutely beautiful and have hair down their back if that's
Yeah,
what you want to do.
right.
They can have the shortest hair with the most healthy hair. They can be absolutely beautiful with beautiful skin. But sometimes, not all times, a lot of times, their definition of beauty is a 30-inch lace front.
Right.
With lashes instead of mascara.
Yeah.
With Cardi B nails, when you can get nails, but does it need to do all this? And shout out to Cardi B, I love her.
Yeah.
And then the booty's out to here because the one that's a little bit smaller is not. That is their
That's what
definition of beauty. And what I'm asking is, do you guys find it as beautiful as black women tend to find
No,
it?
I like real women. That ain't definition of beauty for every man.
That's
that
I'm
might
asking
be,
for.
that,
That's
that
what I'm
might
asking
you might
y'all.
end up being a fun girl. That might be, but that ain't what ain't what nobody want to go home to.
Well,
That's my
I'm gonna
question.
say,
You know what I'm saying?
I
That
say
ain't-
this right, like, because I understand women a good deal, stuff like that doesn't bother me. I
You
like
don't
it.
care.
If you wearing it, you got it on, cool. Because I know,
Sure.
like, there's some women who purposely wear lace fronts because they don't feel like doing their regular hair.
Correct. Correct. And that's what I'm saying. So, I guess in the era that I come from, again, it's more like, I guess in my generation, regardless as to what your beauty was, because you had some women who silk press was their beauty.
Yeah.
A twist was their beauty.
Sure.
What we used to call a hustler, aka a Caesar,
Yep.
is their beauty.
Right.
And whatever your beauty was, you lived in it. Today, now, it seems like there is a manufactured beauty. The whole thing is
It's
either
imitation
I'm
culture.
natural
Yeah.
or I'm lace front.
Yeah.
And I can't be anything. I can't be myself. I got to be natural or lace front. And that's what I'm saying. Does
It's an
one
illusion.
aesthetic speak to a thing versus another? And if not, it doesn't. I'm not saying that it needs to. I'm just saying as men, you could be like, I don't give a damn how big the booty is or what she look like or
Yep.
whether the lace
Yep.
front. Don't matter to me.
Yep.
If she seem like she cool, I'm a rock with her. Great.
I agree. Again, married man talking here, but seeing other single guys and other people date and stuff like that, I'm able to witness that. And of course, in my profession, I meet a lot of people and I hear a lot of things. So to your point, if I was single, I am a big energy person. It's huge. I think everybody should be, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But I think we'll be remiss if we don't look at the situation and be like, you know what? The physical part matter, because a guy can be great. You may not ever know how great he is because you're not physically attracted to him. The same thing with women. So whether that's how they present themselves with lace fronts, it don't matter. It's just a matter of, is it physically or is it aesthetically attractive to me?
you. Now, I want to hit the last segment
Yep.
and talk about professional women. And you can talk about the aesthetic, it's fine, but a lot of times when we talk professional women or a certain, and I don't mean professional, let's not even talk about professional necessarily as what she does, but more professional of how much she makes.
Sure.
Because males generally will judge themselves on your finances.
Sure.
You do.
Fair.
And so therefore, let's talk about how much the woman makes, right?
All right.
So when I talk professional women, I'm talking at upper 3 or upper 5% as far as earnings are
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah.
And it's either gonna be she too strong, she don't want no man, or she don't know how to talk to me, or so. How do you all feel about your experiences with professional black women? What questions do you have about it, and what are your thoughts?
I guess I'll start by saying I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like how much money you make. I'm not pocket watching. If you fuck with me, you gonna fuck with me regardless of how much money you make.
So you don't have any experiences or preconceived feelings
No.
about black professional women.
No, cause like I've dated people in that percentage before. Like ain't about nothing.
Okay, but that's appreciated. But for a lot of men, it is.
Cause like me, I'm the type of person. If I feel like taking us to Roof Chris, that's what I'm gonna do. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm like, hell no, I ain't doing that.
Okay.
And it's just either you
in or you out.
either you with it or you ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to downgrade what you got going on, and I'm not here to compare myself to you because we from two different walks of life.
Okay.
I you know what I'm saying? You went to medical school, got your doctors and stuff. I'd have been to jail before. We different. It's not the same. So it's like,
and again, different don't mean better.
You come from
Different is
you may
different.
have went to Sprayberry. I went to Southwest DeKalb. Like we got two different walks.
Ooh.
You feel
What the
me?
hell is
So
Sprayberry? But anyway,
Nah,
I
he went
ain't
to Southwest.
Atlanta.
He went to Southwest.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like how much money you make. If I'm feeling some type of way about myself because you make more money than me, then I have to have that conversation with myself.
That's a you thing, and
That's a
I
me
love
problem.
that for
That's
you.
not a you problem.
Yes, that's the thing.
Because you got men that'll lash out at women that make that money because they have their own insecurities going on.
Yes.
And create problems where problems don't
Okay,
exist.
but I see some differences across the table. So jump in, somebody, and tell me. And real quick, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, super quick. I think professional women, if we're talking about approaching them from the dating pool perspective, I've noticed a couple of things. Again, because I work with a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? When you're in Atlanta, there's a lot of successful women. And being in my industry, they tend to have money. And they're also responsible with money. So I tend to sit down with them a lot. So my perspective is either A, like you just said, their dating pool is small because of who they are. Because regardless of your confidence, which I'm happy that you have, brother, there's a lot of men who don't. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially black men. We're talking about black women and black men dating, right? And so they have to deal with that. So that's one part of the population. We ain't gonna talk about the other lifestyles and all that kind of stuff, how that creates, everybody likes to do this division, this fractional stuff with that. But the main thing I find with professional women is somebody that they feel like they can bring with them to the boardroom or to the events that makes them feel secure as well. You know what I'm saying? Because though they may like the blue collar brother or the guy that's got a little edge to him or whatever the case may be, can I bring him to Coke's, you know what I'm saying, annual corporate party?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And I also found that like a lot of the women like, hey, their career is their most important thing. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily family oriented. They just want to get their rocks off, and you just happen to be the man of the hour. You know what I'm saying? And so, and they okay with that. They don't feel like they're being promiscuous or being a hoe, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. It's like, no, I control my own destiny. It's a little bit more masculine energy, which I alluded to before.
Yes.
And then for those who are professional but also want a family, they just have to have the right type of man, you know what I'm saying, if they're in the men, of course, right? You know what I'm saying, to be able to feel like they can, you hear this a lot, feel like they can submit to. So even if, I have a client like this, I hope they don't figure this out, but, who makes a significant amount more money than her husband, but she still submits to him because he makes her feel secure and that she can do that and she can trust him to do it.
Okay.
My thing on the professional women, I have some celebrity clients and that are professional women, and I have like regular professional women that make good money, but once you get in, or I would say disarm them, they're really not as bad as they look. They put on a persona, but they're really sweet and really sensitive. But they don't show that because they have to be so strong all the time. You follow what I'm saying? So I do HVAC by trade. But when I come in and put that charge on them, I don't care how much type of money it is. Oh, Dante, you know what I'm saying? But when they trust you, they're just like those other women that put on the lashes and they still a woman. But you gotta approach them a certain type of way. You can't, because they're still in their head a lot, but I think that professional woman that a lot of these, I guess, blue collar guys, that's what they really want. Because after they get to a certain, most of the guys they get, or they may like, that have the type of money they got, they doing the same thing they doing. They running around getting whoever they want, doing this and doing that. So after they've been ran through or went through all these, with all their money, they've been ran through. Now they want a regular guy, but they don't know how to get one because they're not approachable because they look so good, but they're the easiest ones.
Well, I'm gonna say this as a professional woman, and first of all, I love this for y'all. I love this for us. I love that we have to start having more dialogue as women and literally being receptive to what you guys think and to what you say, and not wanting to fight you on it and whether it's right or wrong, but be willing to listen to it, accept it, and like I was taught before, you eat the meat, you throw away the bones.
Right.
One thing that I would like to offer as a professional woman, because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what you guys are saying, we're not a different culture, we're not a different race, we're not a different breed, we're human beings.
Sure.
And the thing is that I think that we fall short as professional women sometimes, and I'm going to say it and I hope a lot of professional women will take this. You have to separate who you are from what you do.
Thank you.
And sometimes you train so long, you really don't have an identity outside of your job, and that is a shortcoming. So you have to at some point pull back and grow as a professional woman and understand that. And even for me, I learned it early on after my divorce to say that Dr. Rogers never comes into my home and Tasha never goes into my office. So my friends are like, who listens to your dumb ass on a regular basis? Because I am a very comical person. I'm funny
Sure.
as hell in my everyday life. But at work, I'm serious about my work. I don't play with it. And when my patients, they're like, you funny? Yeah, I'm hella funny. But you don't need to know Tasha.
Sure.
Because that's not who you came here to see.
Right.
And I think if more professional women truly had that separation from what you do and who you are, and were able to differentiate, this is my job, but this is who I am as a person. And submission should not be a scary word, ladies. Submission is actually another word for respect.
Amen.
But you submit to somebody who is actually giving love, giving protection, giving provision, and giving respect to you. How can you then not submit to that person? Meaning, how can you then not respect that person who's reciprocal of respect, of giving you respect? Submission is not bowing down to. Submission is not being less than. Submission is truly understanding how to respect somebody, how to speak to somebody, and how to love somebody in their love language. So I hope this helped. This is one of many. Ladies, I know y'all are boiling at the house, but at the end of the day, we will get to this and discuss how you guys feel about the state of Black men and their thoughts and what they're driving us to and where we are with this thing. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you back for the next show. Dr. Tasha After Dark.